English breakfast.
Cool, it's 8:23, you're back with the English breakfast, and we have Petra with us still in the studio, and we've been talking all about LinkedIn. We've got so much on the list because this can go on forever, couldn't we? But we're going to go look at some of the other social networking vajazzles there are out there. I can't believe I just said vajazzle.
That's a new one, Kathy.
Yes. Anyway, so we've got LinkedIn, Twitter. What's that all about?
It's about anything you want it to be about.
What is the point? How many characters are there again?
140. You know where that came from?
No.
It's because text messaging on your phone is 160. So take away your username. Twitter allows you 20 characters for your username, and you got 140 characters left.
Clever.
But a really good tweet should be short, because once people want to retweet, and that's what you want them to retweet your smart.
Yes, so
things.
keep it short, and then they can add a little bit maybe.
Well, because it adds the RT for retweet and a space in the at and your username. So I never write any tweets more than 123 characters.
Okay, so 123.
Well, that's because of my username. You take away your username, 2 spaces, and RT.
So although you've got 140 characters, if you want to be retweeted, keep it short to about 123. Great tip from Petra. Cool. But I've got a lot of friends who do a whole load of Facebooking and stuff like that, but they just don't see the point of Twitter. They're like, how can you explain that? How would you kind of...
I think with any social network, it's really personal choice. It's like, even offline, why does one person read the newspaper, the other one watches the news on TV, you know? And generally, you'd say that LinkedIn is your professional networking site, Facebook is your social, your private networking site, and Twitter can be used either way. It started out with just the question, like, what are you doing? And a lot of people still use it like that, you know, like, I'm on radio right now, tweet, or, you know, where's my phone? But it's changed. So people still use it privately, casually, and share any thought they like to share with the world. And other people use it more business-like. And then you can use it like, if you're blogging, you make sure each new blog post ends up as a tweet. So you think about it as well when you write the title of your blog post, because it should be intriguing enough on Twitter for people to click on the link to actually go and read your blog. Or you can use it to do searches. You know, YouTube's the second search engine now after Google, and Twitter's getting third.
Okay, they're using it as a search engine.
Oh, absolutely, because that's where you use the hashtags, the keywords that will become links. So when you use, the little hash symbol attached to any word, so no spaces, then that becomes a link, and it also becomes searchable. When you click on it, you'll get all tweets with that.
Because I find it really useful for receiving information. For example, I'm going to Madrid, so I'll put in Madrid as a search, and then I'll get streams of information about everything happening in Madrid. So it's good. It's good to kind of use it as a stream of updates and links to different content and things like that. I find it really useful for that, and I always explain that to some friends who just see it as the pressure to be tweeting, and it's like, it doesn't have to just be, I'm going to put loads of information out there. It can be a very good listening tool.
It's good you're saying that, like, this pressure to always be tweeting, because a really, really good example of a company that tweets is the GVB, or GVB, the Amsterdam Transport Company, you know. They only tweet when there's something to mention. So the other day, like, because Occupy was setting themselves up and trams were taking a different route, it's there. Or last year, with all the snow and ice on the road, like today, you know, years ago, I was standing at the bus stop and standing there for 45 minutes waiting for my bus that comes every 10 minutes. Think, well, I better go home now. I check my phone and they're tweeting like, oh, no buses because there's snow on the road. And no longer to wait. So I think they're a really good examples. Sometimes they might not tweet for a week. They only ever tweet when they've got something to say.
Yeah,
so for a
that's
business
brilliant.
use, I think that's great.
Yeah, and doesn't waste your time or your attention. And then that just, you know that it's something important and not just some marketing gunk.
Yeah. And we can probably remember kind of world events. I think I remember hearing about even like Occupy. I remember just getting a tweet about the first kind of start of Occupy in New York and just getting a tweet about it, so I can relate like a news event to just receiving a tweet.
Yeah, I love following the news and being able to see what's trending. It's always that curious thing. We're like, why is this trending? Like, and then it'll turn out that a film was on television and everyone's really excited that this old film or something. But oh no, well that's cool. Do you think like if you have people who do really boring tweets, like I've just eaten a pie and chips, now I'm having pudding, now I'm having a coffee, those kind of tweets, can we ban them?
Well, I'd actually like to know this. I wish you tweeted more about that. No, seriously. Once you follow a lot of people, just sometimes you just follow people for strategic reasons or friendly reasons or whatever. Don't bother reading their tweets. Just the people you really want to follow, add them to lists. Look, I've got a list about social media, a list about creative thinking, a list about people I've met in real life, but not everybody I've met in real life, but the ones. So I only check those lists. And by the same token, when you tweet, don't expect your followers to listen to read it.
Yeah.
It's like television. It broadcasts non-stop 24 hours a day. You know, it's like even like a radio. Just because we're on air now doesn't mean people who own a radio are listening to us because, well, most of them be asleep anyway.
Yeah, we just might be a small part of the noise. But you're right, because there's that constant stream of tweets. So unless you get in somebody's list, perhaps, and they're doing it the right way like that, then you might get in there. Who are some of the most fun? Because I kind of like the jokes on Twitter, actually.
I don't know, I've got one for you. It's this American dude, and his tweet handle is, shit my dad says.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got that.
That is hilarious.
Cool.
You know, speaking of Twitter, his dad one says, everyone thinks their opinion matters. Don't argue with a nobody. A farmer doesn't bother telling a pig his breath smells like shit. But this guy's just, lived with his 79-year-old dad and is not tweeting as much now as he used to, probably because he put all the tweets in a book and cashed in. But before he wrote the book, it was actually quite funny when, his dad would come out with these crazy things and the son would just put it on Twitter. Got to think about the son, though, being 29 and living with your dad.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I was on Twitter the whole time. Okay, so shit my dad says. That's a cool one. No, but I like the entertainment factor, and I often go there just for a laugh. But people I follow, I follow Matt Brian Carney, our very own Matt Carney. He sends a lot of technical updates on cutting-edge innovations.
Yeah, try and keep it professional.
So if you want to know what's going on there, follow Matt Brian Carney. What do I tweet about mostly?
Hardly anything.
I do.
Cultural events and things.
Events.
Yeah. I think, you're quite a culture vulture, so it's all cultural in Amsterdam.
Well, you've protected your tweets. Like,
I've turned it off now. Just this week, I've unprotected my tweets. It's totally unprotected.
Yeah, everybody go and follow Kathy.
And do you tweet about books often?
Yes, I do. Books and like getting published and what's happening in the novel publishing world. I'm really interested in that.
So do you use the hashtags like, what's the one about Reading Wednesday or something? There's quite a few hashtags that are specifically about authors and writers and recommending books. And
yeah. No, I don't, I'm afraid. But we've got EBR Amsterdam. We tweet about what's going on in the show, who's coming on. Petra Fisher, obviously, that's your name, Petra Fisher. Follow her for some excellent tips. And Dutch word of the day, DWOTD. That's a good one because that's regular educational tweets. And you've got Go Mike Berry, who's the Friday host. He mainly does cricket tweets and stuff like that. He's very sports mad. And yeah, all sorts of good tweets. But we're going to have to get on. Thank you very much to Petra for coming on the show and talking about social networking, LinkedIn, Twitter, all sorts. But yeah, thanks. And just remind us of your website, Petra.
All right. It's just LinkedIn to succeed.com.
LinkedIn to succeed.com, and that's from Petra Fisher. And I would follow her on Twitter because she does really useful tips.
The English Breakfast.